Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Steffy Forrester dashed onto Forrester Creations' executive floor like a cyclone, the glass doors slamming against the walls hard enough to disturb the framed magazine covers that line the corridor. Her heels punctured the marble with each stride, creating an echoing sound like to gunshots. Heads turned. The assistants froze in mid-sentence. Even the air conditioning appeared to quiet down in anticipation of the explosion everyone knew was coming. She didn't slow down until she reached the CEO's office, which had her name engraved in exquisite gold calligraphy on frosted glass. She pushed the door open without knocking and discovered precisely what she had expected. Hope Logan perched on the edge of Liam Spencer's desk, her left hand prominently displayed so that the brand-new diamond engagement ring caught every ray of afternoon light flowing through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Liam stood beside her, one arm slung possessively around Hope's waist, grinning like he'd just won the lotto and the Nobel Peace Prize all in one day. The grin evaporated when Steffy's shadow fell over them. "Close the door," Steffy ordered, her voice low and menacing. Hope slid down the desk, but did not proceed towards the exit. She lifted her chin in the way she always did before playing the martyr. "Steffy, if you're here to congratulate us." "Congratulations?" Steffy gave a harsh, humorless laugh that made Liam flinch. "Do you think I came here to throw rice and toast your recycled fairy tale?" "Try again," Liam said, stepping forward with palms raised in the placating gesture he'd learned over time. "Come on, Steph. Let's all just take a breath." "Don't," she hissed, pointing one manicured finger at him as if it were loaded. "Don't you dare call me Steph. Not today. Not after this." Her eyes moved to Hope's hand and then back to Liam's face. "You proposed. Again. To her. Again. After everything." Hope's voice was sweet and syrupy, the tone she employed when she tried to appear reasonable while twisting the knife. "Liam and I have been through a lot, but we have now found our way back together. We're pleased, Steffy. You should want it for him." "For both of us," Steffy said, her gaze narrowing. "What I want," she added, enunciating each syllable as if she were carving them into stone, "is for you to take your manipulative little claws out of him before I snap them off one by one." Hope gasped, theatrical as always. Liam rushed instantly to protect her, which only made Steffy's blood boil. "Steffy," he said, "this isn't the place." "You're right," she answered. "This is not the place. This conversation will take place anywhere I select, Liam, because I am still co-CEO of this corporation. And you," she turned her full attention to Hope, "are still an employee. My employee." Hope's freshly glossed lips parted, but no sound was heard for once. Steffy made another step forward. Her perfume smelled harsh and expensive, and it filled the room like a warning. "I'll make this very simple for you, Hope. You have an option. You can stop this engagement today and keep your career, line, and whatever dignity you still have. Or you can keep playing house with my ex-husband, and I will dismiss you so quickly that your head will spin back to the shack you grew up in." Liam's face turned white. "You can't do that." "Watch me," Steffy stated without blinking. "This company isn't a monarchy, Steffy," Hope clarified, regaining her voice. "You can't just threaten people's livelihoods because you're jealous." Steffy repeated the word as if it tasted awful. "I am not jealous, Hope. I am furious. There is a distinction. Jealousy indicates that I want what you have. I do not want Liam back. I'm tired of letting him waffle through my life like a stale cracker. What I want is for you to quit using my family's company to fulfill your unending teenage fantasies." Hope's cheeks flushed red. "This isn't about the company." "Oh, it's always about the company with you," Steffy said in response. "Do you think I don't see it? Hope for the Future is more than just a collection. It represents your brand. Saint Hope, savior of women, teaching empowerment as you hoard spouses like handbags. You need Forrester Creations. You need the runway, the press, and the legacy. Without it, you're just another Logan, banging on doors that will never open for you." Liam's jaw tightened. "That's enough." "No," Steffy answered. It's not quite enough. You want to discuss legacy?
Fine.
My granddad founded this company himself. My father poured his heart and soul into each sketch. My mother protected it with her life. I've actually bled for Forrester Creations more times than I can count. So don't either of you lecture me about what I can and cannot do here. She leaned closer, so close that Hope had to crane her head back to make eye contact. You have until the end of the day, Steffy explained calmly. Break the engagement, or I'll start the paperwork to end Hope for the future. And do not bother running to Ridge. He'll be in Paris till next week, and when he returns, everything will be completed. Don't bother sobbing to Brooke. She has her own mess to clean up after the Monte Carlo extravaganza. This one's on me. Hope's eyes welled up with genuine tears. Would you destroy everything I've worked for over a man who no longer wants you? Steffy grinned slowly and coldly. I am not destroying anything, Hope. Yes, you are. You are the one who can't let well enough alone. You're the one who keeps crawling back into beds you no longer own. She turned to Liam and said, I'm simply finally drawing the line. For a brief instant, something raw and old flashed across her face, perhaps pain, or the ghost of it. Then it was gone. And you, she added, her voice quieter and almost pitying. Don't you ever learn? Do you believe this time will be different because she is wearing your ring again?
It will not be.
She will forgive you for every mistake you have yet to make, and you will spend the rest of your life waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because Hope always does. Liam opened his mouth, then closed it again. He couldn't say anything that wouldn't sound pathetic, and they were all aware of this. Steffy moved back, ironing imaginary wrinkles on her blazer. End of the day, she reiterated. After that, every sketch, prototype, and press release bearing your name goes in the garbage. And you, Hope Logan, will be let out of this building by security as the entire fashion world watches. Your choice. She did not wait for a response. She merely turned on her heel and walked out, the door closing behind her with a gentle click. The hush that followed was oppressive. Hope stared at the closed door. Tears streamed down her face in lovely, picturesque stripes. Liam grabbed for her, but she jerked back. She can't do this, Hope murmured. She can't. She just did, Liam said, sounding as surprised as she was. Hope wrapped her arms around herself, and the diamond on her finger felt like a shackle rather than a promise. What are we planning to do? Liam drew a hand through his hair, a gesture he'd made 1,000 times before as his neatly balanced world tipped sideways again. I don't know, he said. But if we fight her over this, it'll be war. And Steffy does not bluff. Hope gazed up at him, her eyes wide and pleading. You don't intend to let her win, do you? Liam did not respond right away. Outside the window, Los Angeles sparkled in the late afternoon sun, oblivious to the fact that 3 lives were shattered along fault lines that had never entirely healed. Steffy rested against the wall in the corridor for a little moment, eyes closed, to relieve the tremble in her hands. She told herself it was wrath and nothing else. She told herself that she didn't care anymore. She nearly believed it. Then she straightened, squared her shoulders, and proceeded toward the design room, where the next collection awaited, because Forrester Creations would make it through this just as it always has. With or without Hope Logan. With or without Liam Spencer. Finally, without the part of Steffy Forrester that ached whenever she saw them together. She had drawn a line. She would now hold it, even if it carved a hole in her heart. Meanwhile, Steffy paced the length of her office, her heels hitting the floor with sharp, angry clicks. The message she had heard remained in her consciousness, like a warning siren she couldn't turn off. She knew something was up. She could feel the tension, the shift in Liam whenever Hope's name came up, but she never anticipated things would get this far. Not again. Not with their shared history. Not after everything she and Liam had built. Her phone remained on her desk, the screen now blank, but she didn't need to look at it to recall the precise words she had typed, fingers trembling with emotion. Leave Liam or I will fire you. It was frantic, hasty, and possibly cruel, but she didn't regret sending it, yet. All she felt was the raw pain of betrayal, a stifling combination of sadness and wrath. Hope Logan, her co-CEO and presumed ally in bringing Forrester Creations into the next chapter, is engaged to Liam. Engaged. She had learned it from someone else. Not Liam. Not Hope. A stylist overheard Hope gushing about a ring and whispered about it in the design studio. The shame was still burning. The office door swung open, and Hope entered. She did not knock. She never did it with Steffy. Her face was strained yet determined, her shoulders rigid, her mouth set. Steffy understood the look. Hope was poised to fight. "Steffy," Hope said, closing the door behind her with a soft click. "We need to talk." Steffy raised her chin.
Yes.
"We do." Hope took a breath, but Steffy interrupted her before she could finish. "When did you intend to tell me?" she demanded. "After the wedding? What happens after the honeymoon? Or did you expect me to find it out when you started signing things as Hope Spencer again?" Hope flinched. "I was about to inform you.
Today.
I just wanted to find the proper moment," Steffy snapped. "There is no appropriate timing for this. Not while you are engaged to the father of my child." Again. Hope's gaze softened as she approached. "Steffy, I did not plan to surprise you. Liam and I didn't plan this. It's just happened. We reunited. Everything felt right. And I care about you and our professional connection. That's why I wanted to speak." Steffy laughed cruelly. "You don't get to hurt me and then hide behind our working relationship." "That's not what I'm doing," Steffy inquired, wrapping her arms tightly across her chest. "Then tell me, Hope, did you even consider what this would do to Kelly? To me? To our families? Or were you too engrossed in your reunion fantasies to care?" Hope stiffened. "That's not fair." "It is very fair. You're familiar with the history. You understand the agony. And you still did this." Steffy took a step nearer, her voice lowered. "I thought we were finally building trust." Hope swallowed hard. "I never intended to betray you. But you did." Steffy's voice trembled before she could steady it. "And you not only betrayed me personally, but you also crossed a professional line," Hope said, her brow wrinkled. "What line?" Steffy nodded to the phone on her desk. "You forced my hand." Hope's gaze shifted to it, and Steffy caught the exact instant she knew why she was summoned. Her expression clouded. "You didn't," Hope muttered. "I did," Steffy replied. Hope stepped forward, her voice shaking with wrath. "Have you threatened my job? You told me to leave Liam or you'd fire me." "Steffy, that's me safeguarding this company," Steffy replied coldly. "Protecting my family. You're using your power to punish me because you've been hurt." Hope's voice became sharper. "That isn't leadership. That's vengeance." Steffy tightened her jaw, but did not dispute it. She could not. Every decision was colored by emotion. She was aware of this even as she reaffirmed her position. "You don't get to undermine my life and expect everything at work to stay the same," Steffy told you. "I can't run a company with someone whose choices constantly threaten my stability." Hope's face was expressionless. "What are my choices? Steffy, you and Liam haven't been together in years." "That doesn't erase our past," Steffy exclaimed. "It does not take away the sorrow of losing him to you again. You understand how hard I battled to repair my life. And Liam and I were finally getting along as co-parents." Hope's voice softened again. "You and Liam can stay in a nice place. My relationship with him has no bearing on how committed he is to Kelly." "You don't get to decide what does or does not change," Steffy retorted. "It's not simply because Liam is Kelly's father. This is about respect. And you didn't show me any." Hope took a deep breath, evidently trying to remain calm. "Steffy, I've been behind you for years. When you needed time, distance, or support, I was there for you. I didn't do this to hurt you." "That doesn't matter," Steffy replied. "Intent doesn't erase impact." Hope's eyes were filled with pain. "Is that it? You're going to demolish everything we've accomplished as co-sauce because of a man?" "Don't you dare minimize this," Steffy said, her voice dangerously low. "It's not about the man. It is about trust. And you broke it." Hope shook her head. "Steffy, firing me would tear this company apart. Eric would be devastated. Ridge would not stand for it. Thomas, Steffy cut in sharply, is in a precarious situation. And I won't let you drag him back into heartbreak because you can't decide what you want. That's not fair, Hope muttered. It's reality. A thick stillness fell between them, heavy with years of conflict, history, and unresolved emotions. Hope's breathing became weak, and her composure slipped. You don't get to dictate my personal life, she said quietly. Not even as my boss. Steffy maintained her gaze. Watch me. Hope was taken aback by her. Steffy felt a hollow aching in her chest, despite the bitter betrayal in her expression. This was unpleasant, but she couldn't and wouldn't back down. You're crossing a line you can't uncross, Hope finally stated. So are you, Steffy said. You already have. Hope gulped hard. What do you want from me? Steffy hesitated. The solution should have been straightforward. It should have been the exact words she had texted. Leave Liam. But standing here, facing the repercussions, it felt heavier, more difficult to speak out. She forced herself to meet Hope's gaze. I want you to stop hurting my family, Steffy replied, her voice quiet but firm. If that means ending things with Liam, then yes, that's what I'm asking. Hope looked at her as if she couldn't believe what she was saying. You don't love Liam anymore.
Not like that.
This isn't about my feelings, Steffy maintained. It's about protecting my daughter, keeping her life stable, keeping our families from devolving into chaos again. Hope took a step back and shook her head. You're asking me to give up the man I love to make you comfortable. I'm asking you to be responsible, Steffy answered in return. Steffy's jaw hardened. This isn't responsibility, it's control. Hope, you can't have Liam and still work here. Not both. Hope's breath caught. You're really doing this? Steffy nodded slowly. I am. Hope gazed around their workspace, which they had spent months designing together as a symbol of unity. Now their cohesiveness was dissolving right in front of them. So that's my choice, Hope muttered hollowly. Liam or my career. Steffy gazed at her with a mix of grief and determination. Yes. Hope exhaled shakily, tears welling up but refusing to fall. I never thought you would stoop to something like this. And I never thought you'd betray me like this. Hope turned toward the door. Her hand remained on the handle for a long time before she spoke again. You're not the only one with power in this company, she replied gently. And you aren't the only person they trust. If you do this, you will not just hurt me. You're harming Forrester Creations. I'll deal with it, Steffy replied. Hope nodded faintly. Then I guess we both will. She went, the door gently closing behind her, despite the fact that her leaving seemed like a bang. Steffy slipped into her chair, breathing heavily and her heart thumping. She wasn't sure if she had just saved her world, or destroy everything. Steffy sat immobile for a long time, staring at the closed door, as if Hope might come back in and undo all that had just happened. The office was too quiet now, as if it pressed against her chest rather than soothing her. She massaged her hands together, attempting to remove the tremble from her fingers. She'd stood firm. She had defended what she thought required protecting. Why did it feel like the floor was sinking beneath her? Liam's face flashed in her mind, his uncertainty, disappointment, and hurt as he realized what she had done. Kelly's bright smile followed, a reminder of why she'd made the decisions she did. Even that notion, which was ordinarily her anchor, failed to keep her steady now. Everything seemed unstable and delicate, like if one false move could blow her entire life out of control. She up and headed toward the window, arms wrapped around herself. Down below, the Forrester courtyard was bustling with activity, designers scurrying, interns hauling reams of fabric, cameras screaming out instructions. The universe continued to move, oblivious to the split she had just caused at the very top. A mild but unmistakable knock rang out. Steffy did not turn around. Come in, she murmured, her voice fatigued. Footsteps crossed the room and came to a stop several feet behind her. Steffy. A familiar voice whispered softly. Liam. Her heart tightened. She closed her eyes.
We need to talk, he said.
She took a slow breath and finally turned around, ready to face the tempest she had put in motion.